In recent years, I have sold over 100,000 books as an author, and I've helped over 3,000 authors go full-time in their career. And I didn't have to be famous to do it, and neither do you. So let's go back to the beginning and how I did it and how you can do the same. Obviously, you don't have to be living in a shed with no running water with a newborn like I was. That was a miserable time. Trust me, you do not want to do that part if you can avoid it. But the big thing is that you need to be able to learn and adapt to new things and new ideas in order to keep your author career and progress it and continue to make money and to expand your income. So, way back when I was living in the shed, my laptop died. I didn't even have the ability to work on my books and keep writing because I didn't have a functional computer. And one of my friends said, "Hey, I know you've been struggling a lot. I have this book talk account that's going really well. I want to have an alt account. Could you run it for me? And in exchange, I will pay you $300. And I said, sure, sounds good. $300 for a month for posting once a day. Sounds good, sounds like a plan. And I finally sat and learned how to do TikTok. And this is not a video saying you have to be a TikTok genius or you have to post on TikTok in order to be successful. However, when I started posting my own books about 10 days into working with her and posting her books, I started seeing a massive uptick in sales, and I started being willing to experiment with what to do and posting my own books and how to make content. And I started learning a lot more about the psychology behind content marketing, behind social media and short form video marketing. But the big thing is I didn't have to post content of my face in order to do it. I wasn't making skits and being hilarious every day. I know that you seem to think that is my life because I'm such a fun, funny person and that I'm just constantly nonstop hilarious and great and sociable. But in fact, I'm not that person. I want to sit on my couch and do nothing, and I want to be lazy, and this allowed me to do that because I was making faceless content that sold well. Now, at this time, at the end of 2022, beginning of 2023, the big thing was authors posting spicy scenes from their romance books, and I started to see that this content was getting suppressed. And that's because in March of 2023, TikTok was at risk of getting completely banned in the United States. You might be aware that TikTok was technically banned in 2024, but then had an extension and then another extension, and really it's just never gone away since then. But that initial ban process was at the beginning of 2023, and it was super stressful for a lot of authors because their views were starting to get suppressed. And this is because they were posting spicy scenes from their books, and the excuse that Congress was using in order to ban TikTok was, what about the children? What if they see this inappropriate content? So TikTok was being proactive and getting rid of any questionable content. Of course, if you've been on TikTok lately and you've still seen stuff that is questionable and spicy, you might be like, well, this got through, so it must be totally fine and it's a free-for-all. But in fact, all that means is that the person who posted it managed to get around the censors, and chances are that's not going to last for long. I've actually been using my content strategy for the type of content that I post from my books since 2023, and if you want to learn how to do it and how thousands of other authors have been doing it, make sure to check out the link in my description. But the basis of it is pulling relatable emotional scenes that get people emotionally invested in your characters. Of course, with the looming TikTok ban ahead in 2023, I got really worried, and so did a lot of other authors, that our books would get banned and that authors overall would get banned from TikTok. So instead of just posting constantly and waiting around for a ban to happen, I decided to learn other socials. I learned the differences between the algorithms from TikTok to Instagram to Facebook and found a happy middle ground for the type of content that I'm now posting. Because, like I said, I want to be lazy and I wanted to learn how to market my books anywhere, okay? I didn't want to just be the person who could post her books on TikTok. I wanted to be able to market my books and post them anywhere at any time. If TikTok goes down, if Instagram dies, if Facebook, if YouTube, if these all collapse, I still want to be able to sell my books with whatever replaces these things. And something that really ended up helping me, despite the absolute shit show of an event it was when I was selling my books at Readers Take Denver. The event was a total shit show, but I learned a lot as a seller when I was selling my books, because I learned to create a pitch that sells my books, a pitch that gets people interested in just a sentence, which could then be applied to my social media marketing strategy. And then I took this information and started posting non-stop. I know it sounds nuts to just be posting all the time and you're worried that you're going to annoy people, but the thing is that 98% of your audience, when you post an initial short form video, is going to be people who have never seen your content before. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, they are going to show that short form video to people who have never heard of you before they spread it to the people who've seen your stuff and to the people who've subscribed to you. So you have to be posting, you have to be showing your content to people who haven't heard of you, because these people can turn into super fans who then share your work. And if you're not posting and if you're not letting people know that your book exists, how the hell are they supposed to find you? They're not going to be able to find your books and buy it if they don't know it exists. So I'm posting nonstop about my books and about like my business services and all of that, but specifically about the books, I'm posting nonstop, but that doesn't mean I'm working hard to create my posts. While a lot of people know me as the person who came up with the 30-slide slideshow strategy, that's not all I teach. I have that TikTok course that I have is super comprehensive and has, tons of different methods and strategies and lets you pick and choose what you want to use. And what I'm currently doing right now with my own books is I'm making short videos with an aesthetic vibe with my book in the video, and I'm putting my scenes and my little scripts that I write over those videos. And I'm using Canva to do this because instead of having to make a new video every day and taking a lot of time, I can produce hundreds of pieces of content in 5 minutes, because all I have to do is have just these little aesthetic videos of my books and then slap the text over it in Canva using their bulk create function. And that's also how I avoid burnout, because you don't want to be sitting and trying to work on it every single day, constantly nonstop, and being worried about it all the time, especially if you are at a higher risk for burnout, if you're at a higher risk for not being able to do it later, if you have a mental illness or a chronic illness of some kind. It can be really, really hard to do this constantly and to be posting your content all the time and to be coming up with new ideas. So instead, if you get in the habit of bulk creating your posts and scheduling these posts, then you're going to be able to be posting all the time and be out there all the time without actually literally being there all the time, because your content is going up without you. And that way you can pick one day a month when you know you're going to be doing all right. My ladies in the video know that there is a certain time of month when you are super unmotivated to do anything, but there's also a time of month when you're super motivated to do everything. So get your month's worth of content done when you're motivated to do it, and then you can relax a little bit more for the rest of the month. Now, I know this video is talking about doing this organically and not doing paid ads, but I want to talk a little bit about how I spend my money when I do paid ads, because a lot of people think, well, this video I worked really hard on got no views, so I'm going to put some money into it. But that actually trains TikTok's algorithm that if they give you fewer views, you are going to give them money. Instead, if you only put money into something that got a minimum baseline of 5,000 views or 10,000 views, then that trains their algorithm that you are going to spend money on marketing your stuff if you are seeing results, if you are seeing a high number of people watching your content or a high number of people favoriting your content. So if you are really discerning about when you put the money in for these paid ads or for these sponsored posts, whether it is on Facebook or on Instagram or on TikTok, you are going to get a lot more views back, because these social media profiles are going to be encouraged to give you more views on all of your other content because you're spending money on this. So you're not just going to see views go up on the piece that you are spending money on, but you're actually going to see views go up on your other content. And if you're ready to become an absolute pro at book marketing, make sure to check out the link in the description.